taxpayer's total tax appears in the Other Taxes section of the Form 1040 on line 63. The taxpayer's total tax payments already made, including any refundable credits, appears in the Payments section of Form 1040, line 74. If payments made exceed the amount of tax liability, then the amount of the overpayment appears in the Refund section of Form 1040 on line 75. Payment options for taxes that are owed are check or a money order submitted with Form 1040V payment voucher, electronic funds withdrawal, or credit card. Also, an electronic federal tax payment system or EFTPS. Taxpayers who can't pay the full amount owed may request one of these agreements. Pay in full within 60 or 120 days with no fee, or make monthly installment payments using Form 9465 Installment Agreement Request that includes a fee. Now let's move on to amended tax returns, and we'll talk about when not to amend a return. So when is an amended return not required? If you make math errors on your return. With today's computer programs, this is unlikely, but in the event that it does happen, the IRS will correct any math errors. An amended return is not required if the IRS notifies the taxpayer to provide any missing schedules or forms. An amended return is not required if it involves a tax return that is in pending or rejected status. This return cannot be amended. On the Form 1040X, the amended tax return form, first you would specify the year for which the form is being submitted. There are three columns on the 1040X. Column A, the original or IRS adjusted figures from the original tax return or a previous amendment. Column C, which are the correct entries. And column B is the net change between columns A and column C. At this time, an amended tax return cannot be electronically filed. It must be mailed to the IRS. You'll need to attach copies of any forms or schedules that are affected by the change to your original tax return, including any Forms W-2 that are received after the original filing. You should also attach Form W-2G and 1099 that support any changes made to the return if there was income tax withheld. If a refund is expected, taxpayers must file the amended return within 3 years from the due date of the original return. On the Form 1040X, if there are any refunds and balance due involved, if the amended return results in a refund to the taxpayer must wait until the original return is processed, or if electronically filed, wait until the return is accepted. A taxpayer can cash the original refund check, if there was any, while waiting for any additional refund. Interest will be paid for a refund on an amended return, and this interest will be taxable in the year that it's received. The normal processing time for an amended return, Form 1040X, is 8 to 12 weeks. If the amended return results in a balance due to the IRS, a taxpayer should file by the April due date and pay the amount due in full, if possible, or as much as possible, in order to minimize interest and penalties on the tax return. So in summary, taxpayers have several options to pay a balance due, including the submission of an installment agreement. To correct a previously accepted tax return, a taxpayer may file a 1040X amended return. If a refund is expected, taxpayers have 3 years from the due date of the original return to file an amended return. Now let's look at some review questions.